Joy, I will let you run with it first, and then I will take the baton from you, because if I take off running, I ain't slowing down. Joy, what is the ceiling for the Dolphins if Tua Tagovailoa is healthy?
Super Bowl!
Oh.
Woof.
You said it so well. You did a great job.
When you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. I think it's Super Bowl. I think they can make the Super Bowl. If you can make the Super Bowl, you can win. Anything can happen. It's one game. I think the ceiling is high. They're 7-3 when he was healthy. He led the league in passer rating last year. We got an opportunity to see what Tua is capable of with talent around him, when the organization has said you're the guy, when you have a coach that believes in you. I mean, they brought in Tyreek Hill, they have Waddle, and he performed. The question is, can he stay healthy for an entire season, and can he be healthy at the end of the season and the postseason when it matters? And we'll find out. But the question of whether or not he can play at the highest level has been answered. Yeah. So it's really up to Tua staying healthy at this point. And if he can stay healthy, I don't know why he's not, the Dolphins, with the talent that they have on both sides of the ball and what they built on last year, can't be in the mix with all the other teams in the AFC.
I'm trying not to be biased genuinely, because I fell in love with the Miami Dolphins last year. You at home, you probably know that. If Tua's healthy, I don't see why the Dolphins can't win the Super Bowl, and I don't see how the Dolphins are not the dark horse to win the Super Bowl. We know how good they are on offense. I'm not going to bore you all with that. Defensively is what not enough people are talking about. Vic Fangio is brought in now as the defensive coordinator. In my mind, he has really revolutionized the 3-4 defense. What is so good about the 3-4 defense? It is harder for an offense to understand where the fourth rusher is coming from. Won't bore you with that. What I will tell you is this. Last time he was a defensive coordinator, Chicago Bears, number 4 defense in football. He has commanded 5 top 5 defenses over the course of his career. That's 5 times, most notably with the San Francisco 49ers when they were great. Shady, Jalen Ramsey has shown up. When you have a player like Jalen Ramsey opposite Xavier Howard, now you know just how versatile you can be, because you can lock the backside. You can say, hey, I will take out this receiver, safety, y'all push to the front side, play 5 defensive players on 3 offensive players. We have a numbers advantage there. Then offensively, where will the Dolphins ever be outmatched? That's the question I ask myself. There's not going to have a defensive secondary that can lock up Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Waddle is the number 2 wide receiver, had 1,300 yards last year, led the NFL in yards per reception. Where are you going to have a defense that can keep up with the speed of the Miami Dolphins? Raheem Mostert, Devin Achane, drafted in the 3rd round out of Texas A&M. So you might say, well, the Dolphins don't have a tight end. They don't need one. That's why they let Mike Gesicki walk. Secondly and lastly, you said this off camera, I'll say it on camera. When you think about the brilliance of the staff of the Dolphins, I don't know who's as significantly, if any, better. Mike McDaniel, one of the most brilliant offensive minds the game has seen. Yes. Vic Fangio, one of the most brilliant defensive minds the game has ever seen. I don't know a team, Shady, that can step on the field and have a significant advantage at any important position group over the Miami Dolphins.
No, I totally agree. I think if Tua's healthy, they can make that push for a Super Bowl run. I mean, they're in a tough division, but I think that they can compete in that division. You talk about the offense, right, with 2 number 1 receivers on both sides of the ball, and then Tua. I got to give Tua some credit. When he was playing, he was so efficient, right? Smart. He knew everywhere he wanted to go with the ball before the ball was even snapped. So I love to see what the Dolphins do. I mean, even on defense, bringing in Ramsey to this defense already, I thought it was a solid secondary, but now you bring Ramsey, you can do so much with that now, because you know they can cover on both sides. So, I mean, like the ceiling's high for this group. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, don't do it, Slick.
I have to. Sorry. I am with you on everything about the optimism when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, except I still have a question about Tua.
Fair, of course.
He is fragile.
We all do.
He's fragile.
Not only fragile, but I have seen a couple games against the 49ers, against the Chargers in particular, where it wasn't just that he was a little off. He was like, what's going on? And that was not concussion infected. And that's the other problem is like figuring out the later performances that were also off, how much of that had to do with that he was playing through a fog. And when I look at when you talk about the positional matchups, yeah, in every case, except I look at the AFC quarterbacks that he's going to have to beat to get there.
True.
And that's the question that I have. So I have seen what he's capable of,
no doubt,
but I haven't seen it enough to fully buy in that he's that guy that can take you to a Super Bowl.
Is it that you haven't seen it enough, or is it that you're still marred by those 2 performances? Because I've seen it enough, but I am still marred by those two performances, one I witnessed in person. Remember, Tua went there and outplayed Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. If y'all remember that fourth quarter where Tua and the Dolphins came storming back, Tua outplayed Josh Allen. Unfortunately, Tua had a concussion when he did it, but Tua outplayed Josh Allen in that game where the Dolphins again came storming back. I think it was week 2 of the season where Tua's tied Dan Marino for most passing touchdowns in a game with 6. So I've seen enough from Tua positively, but Tua do be getting hurt. Shady, why you smirking?
Nah, I mean, this, you said Dan Marino. I mean, Dan, let's just leave Dan out of it. Let's just leave Dan out of it. But nah, he be playing well. I just think that he's so fragile. It's hard to bet on him, right? And then when he comes back, he might go out again. You know, sometimes when guys get hurt, he got hurt. I mean, it sucks, but he'll be back. And then when he comes back, he goes a long time without getting injured again. Or we see with Tua, he gets hurt, hurt again. So it's hard to really bet on this team because I don't think that they're the same team without Tua.
The only question that I have about the Dolphins really outside of Tua's health is the offensive line, which Dolphins fans never want to hear about, but they ranked 22nd last year. They're projected to rank 20th this year. Now, hopefully they end up being better than that. But when you have...
How can I project that?
Well, it's just based off offseason moves, who's healthy, who's coming back. But
that's a crazy stat.
That's what's concerning to me because even though Tua can move around a little bit and he's very accurate, as we know, he's also injury prone. Having an offensive line that puts you in bad situations tends to lean towards that's going to be an issue that you're going to have to deal with throughout the season. So I'm hoping that they play improved this year for Tua's sake, obviously, and for the offense's sake, because when you're asking what's a position group that could line up against the Dolphins and have the advantage, well, defensive line could have the advantage in that space if the offensive line is struggling. So that's the only question about it. But we're doing all of these projections at this point in the NFL calendar year. Obviously, this is all on paper, what we're looking for. And we're all assuming everyone's healthy at the end of the season. Everyone's going to have all their crucial pieces at the end of the season. We know that's not going to be true. But I don't know why, when you look at what the Dolphins had when they added this offseason, building again on what they saw from Tua last year, bringing back some of the high-level pieces that they do have, and bringing in the high-level pieces that they acquired this offseason, why you can't be that optimistic. Like, I feel better about where the Dolphins are right now than where the Jets are.
Yeah.
I feel like I have less questions about the Dolphins than the Jets. And we're talking about the Jets as Super Bowl contenders.
There's not really a question about the Dolphins. The only question is Tua's health. But you can't project somebody getting hurt. At least we won't, not on this show. It's just respect of the athletes too much. On paper, I think the Dolphins, on paper, considering coaching as well, I think the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Bengals. But truth be told, I don't like the Bengals defense, so that's why I really like the Dolphins on paper. The Chiefs, they have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, so you can't even, you just kind of got to put them to the side. And Travis Kelce. So you really just got to put them to the side. But 2-5 on paper, it's all Dolphins for me. And the last thing I'll say is there's a difference, and I'm interested if you'll speak to this. Maybe I'll know more as a defender, between pocket presence and mobility. Tua is not a mobile quarterback. Tua's pocket presence is elite. So Tua is phenomenal. It's sliding left, sliding right, stepping up, avoiding pressure.
Even spinning out. I seen a couple times spin out.
Yep.
Too.
But when you saw against the Niners and when Tua has to run, it's bad ball. You don't want that. But Tua's pocket presence to me, Shady, I love. That's why I'm like, he's going to be all right. I think he'll be okay.
I don't know. I mean, they talking about he was doing jiu-jitsu or Taibo or something to try to see how he could fall. Listen, you playing whatever they say he was doing. You've been playing ball this long, and you're not gonna learn how to fall different. I was reading that, what are they trying to do?
Remember, didn't they teach Mike Vick how to slide?
Man, listen, Mike Vick could never slide, right? And we were like, Mike, you gotta slide. You're one of the best athletes we've ever seen. They brought over the pitchers, or not the pitchers, some of the players from the Phillies to teach him how to slide. They're in there trying to teach this all-star athlete how to slide. He couldn't do it. He's been playing ball for so many years. Either you have it or you don't. It got so bad that they got the sliding board, them blow up.
You know
what I'm talking about?
Slip and slide?
Slip and slide to teach him. He couldn't do it. So my thing is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
New tricks.
My grandma always telling me that.
Well, from the AFC quarterbacks to the NFC quarterbacks.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.